Jessica Egan. That was pretty incredible getting to hear all the great work she's doing in this community. So what did you guys think?
She was a wonderful guest, and it was great to hear some of the topics that they're covering. These are touchy topics.
Right.
And for those who didn't hear the episode last week, they're working with girls that are in the ages of about 9 to 13. And they're talking about things like puberty, body image, confidence, things that are tough topics. And then
social media,
you throw in
how to
social
protect
media.
yourself. Yeah.
And, for girls at that age, it's tough being a female, those middle school kind of years. It's a very awkward stage. Your body's changing. And then now we have, like you said, social media putting pressure on everyone. So they were great. She also had someone here named Angelia Bills who helps with their
who knew our producer, Ryan.
Yes.
Right.
That was funny.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I thought, I agree with you and echo the comments around the topics that don't get touched on in education or sometimes by parents. They're difficult topics. I think the way in which they introduce experts into the conversation was super interesting. I think back to things like Parents as Teachers was a program that we had through the Wentzville School District with our kids. And it'd be an educator that came in, kind of gave you topics to focus on and some things to push forward. But when they have an issue with, or a topic to talk about with puberty or image issues, they have experts come in that actually are covering those conversations. And I just thought that was really interesting. And, lastly, I hope that same opportunity comes out for boys, because they deal with a lot of issues, maybe not at the same level, but very similar types of topics. So,
and our youngest even said, "Why don't they do this for boys?"
Yes.
When I talked about the episode, he's 14, and they see a lot. They have a lot of questions. So.
Yeah. And serving as the keynote this summer, what I really thought was really cool is they don't just drop the kiddos. They have the person that's really helping that youth grow with them.
Yes.
So like the adult, or whatever they call them, the trusted advisor.
Is what,
the trusted advisor. Yeah, was the word. But they allow them to have an opportunity to learn too. Like I took away so many different golden nuggets from just observing and seeing what they were teaching the girls. It was cool.
And a friend of mine that reached out on Facebook after I posted about the episode said, "Hey, this would be an amazing experience, a bonding experience with my daughter and myself." And so that, you can love hearing that and sharing that as an opportunity for people. And it doesn't have to be mom or dad. It could be, like you said, trusted advisor, adult, can go as well.
Yep. Pretty cool. Anyway, says here that we've got some grit events coming up. What are we talking about? Are we talking about the gala that everybody's going to go to? Come on, guys. We got to get your tickets. Jen. It's going to be sold out. It's going to be at River City Casino on the 24th of October.
Yeah.
Book your tickets and tables. They still have sponsorship available and vendor tables too. So
what can they expect, Jen?
Oh my gosh.
What's the gala like?
It's such a fun event. So this is the third one that I've hosted. So you get to hear some of the contributors in these books share their chapter live on stage. And then we're going to highlight 4 Youth Grit Awards of kids that have had grit, and they've been nominated from different individuals in our community. And we have over 7 different adult awards that they're going to be receiving, praise of owning their grit. So it's just a really fun night to get celebrated and connect in community, and then get inspired by these incredible people that are being vulnerable up on the stage.
And you get all dialed up, don't you?
Oh,
this
I get
big
decked
fancy
out.
tie, like big dress.
Yeah,
the whole
it's
bit.
like, come on, let's be Cinderella.
And unfortunately, Mike and I are out of town for this. Otherwise, we would honestly be there in a heartbeat. We had a trip planned to Florida, months back.
Yeah,
but we're sorry to miss. I can't wait to see all the outfits and the awards. And,
it's a thing next year. You're coming next year.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll get you up on stage.
Yeah. And then we also wanted to highlight the online courses that you're.
Oh, yeah. So this is really exciting. So I have wanted to publish my courses for Grit for 2 years. And just talking to the right people, I met this incredible leader in our community and helped me get it certified through University of California, and it's on its way to Stanford. So I have 5 Grit courses that are now accredited, which means kiddos can have experiential learning from 10th and 11th and 12th grade. So I'm so excited.
Congrats.
And this is not only available in the States, but it's international. So I'm like, what the heck? This is a girl that barely made high school, graduated, and I've got courses that
it's
are
an incredible
accredited.
story.
So
when
it's
you
pretty
think
cool.
about that, it's so full circle for you.
It is.
It has to feel so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess I'm not that dumb, huh?
Oh,
I guess I figured this stuff out. That was always my challenge. So.
Oh, and I guess I am supposed to talk about some things I've been working on. So I don't like to talk about what I do just because I guess I'm humble about a lot of this stuff. But let's see. I'm working with BioSpan, which is a sustainable based soy derivative that's used to protect concrete and asphalt. It also helps with energy and fracking in terms of oil flow. And it's also a sustainable product used in commercial, industrial, and home cleaning. And so I've been helping to connect the dots and bring new opportunities to market there with the president and COO, Lindsay. And super fascinating company, brings me back to my roots, both in construction, but also in agronomy. I love farming. I've been in the industry for 12 years. And so definitely a passion and opportunity. Still work with the two professional services firms, and we're working through growth strategy and how to defend kind of what's happening with AI, because quite honestly, consulting and agency type work is being replaced by AI significantly and quickly. And so working through how to defend that business for the next 5 to 10 years. What else? I'm actually working with an exec out of my old CHS company who has a passion for music, and looking at standing up a music cooperative to help the indies, if you will, the independents have access to healthcare, new labels, get more money back in the pocket, which is taken out from them from Spotify and that sort of thing. So just met with a legal team yesterday that specializes in the music industry. And so we've got some business model things to take care of there. And what else? I don't know. I mean, I've met with Barry Waymiller this past week, which was awesome. Some of the executive team there, but lots of interesting opportunities going on in the marketplace. So.
For sure. And what I love to highlight is a lot of these have come from the show, the connections that we're making among, between people, and like the Biospan thing, that was Betsy Cohen's nomination. And so that's one thing about the show that we love is we're thinking even after these episodes, how can we intermingle these people that never would have met before? Totally. So that is really what I love about it. And speaking of the show, Jennifer and I are going to be presenting this Friday at the 66th Annual Eagle Summit in Chesterfield. That is going to be at Gary Baker's facility, who is another author in your book.
He was in this book. Yeah. Gary Baker's awesome.
Yeah. So they have a beautiful facility in Chesterfield called Undivided. And they're another example of a company that made it through COVID because they had just built that right beforehand, I think. Yeah. So anyway, we're looking forward to that. We'll talk about the show and how others can get engaged, including the monthly brief, which I'll touch on again. That is essentially it's a monthly recap of all of the people that we interview the prior month. We distill it down into a 15-minute audio MP3 and then a corresponding 3-page toolkit that really highlights what all of these wonderful leaders are sharing with us, whether it's leadership lessons or how they've gotten through their breaking points. Then we marry that with the financial and market signals going on in St. Louis and our region, kind of comparing it to other cities. It's just a neat, what others have said is like a cliff notes of everything we're producing.
We're like the Harvard Review. Okay.
Yeah, right. So that's something we are offering as a subscription for our listeners and followers. And it's available at michaeldavidchandler.com. You just have to navigate to Elevate and Lead Show, then the monthly brief details, and you can find out more. And we're also very happy to send you a free sample if you're the try before you buy kind of person. So check it out. All right. Moving right along, we are going to thank one of our most recent sponsors. I want to introduce our audience to Edward Jones, financial advisor, Bethany Shell. When you're choosing a financial advisor, Bethany believes the first question is simple. Does your advisor take the time to really listen? Your goals, your family, your future, it should always be personalized. Because financial planning isn't just about numbers. Life changes, and so does your financial situation. That's why Bethany partners with you every step of the way to help keep your strategy on track. And if you're brand new to investing, that's actually the best time to start. Bethany uses an established process to create a personalized strategy backed by advice, tools, and resources designed to help you reach your goals. You'll always have access to the information you need when you need it. Bethany says true wealth isn't about hitting a magic number. It's about having financial strategies that support a life you love. You can count on her to help you achieve what matters most, because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. Contact Bethany today at 314-648-2020. This is a paid-for ad by Bethany Shell, Edward Jones, member SIPC. Thank
And
you
I
so
just
much.
saw her on Friday.
Oh, you did?
We had a grit retreat and she was one of our guests, and it was a really incredible experience. We Grit partnered with the Gratitude House, which is a sober living facility, and we did an all-day retreat with a small group of women. So they learned about Enneagram, we talked about grit, and then we did meditation. But she was there in
That's so
attendance.
cool.
Yeah.
And she has a freshman at Liberty High School. We have a freshman at
That's what
Liberty
I
High School.
heard.
And we had
Yeah.
no idea.
What
and
are the
so, and
chances?
the kids, I believe, do know each other, which is so
That's
funny.
cool.
So thank
Yeah.
you so much, Bethany from Edward Jones. We appreciate your sponsorship.
All right. Well, and Ryan, I keep falling behind on this, but we've got our Ask and Elevate segment. We got to get our little intro running at some point, our little jingle.
Yes,
So
we do need a jingle.
yes. So I don't know. We're going to make you sing or something.
What you
I
got
don't
got
know.
mine.
I have a lot of producer friends that I
There
can
we
figure
go.
it out.
There we go.
What kind of style do you want? Do you want like a smooth? Do you want like
something smooth, inquisitive, almost like a blend of I don't know, some kind of trivia noise.
I like
Jeopardy?
upbeat.
Jeopardy.
No,
we need
you
something
want,
upbeat.
you want
Jeopardy.
game
We're
show
gonna
smooth,
fall
or do
asleep
you
listening
want,
to
like-
Jeopardy.
But yeah, I can text them about that and get that MP3 to you
That'd be
guys.
cool.
All right, that'd
Cool.
be great.
Yeah.
Well, so Ask and Elevate's been around now for almost a couple of months. We still have some questions coming in, and today it comes right out of Clayton from James, and his question is around change and team change. How do you keep your team motivated during times of big change? Probably a pretty appropriate question over the past 5 years, and certainly now more than ever. Jen, Kelly, do you guys want to start with the thoughts on motivation and how to keep team members strumming along without getting caught into all the big inertia?
Yeah, for me, I think it's really just making sure each of every one of the team members are feeling seen and heard. And you do that through bonding. So like, you got to get out of the office. You got to have some experiences where you're actually having fun together as a team, right? And then you can realize, hey, this is this person outside of work and they're a lot of fun and I like them and I trust them. And then they're going to feel more engaged and more inspired to do the work that they do every day. So I would say get out of the office, go to Topgolf, do whatever, you know, just go have fun and bond.
Yeah. Be human. You
Yeah.
know, keep them comfortable and happy. And, you know, I've been part of, I've been more on the team, you know, that's experiencing the change when I was at Express Scripts and they would have all these mergers and acquisitions, like what is going to happen now? And it's so
Scary.
stressful.
Yeah.
And I think what I didn't appreciate at the time was just that lack of communication. I mean, we all know something's going to happen and we know people are going to get laid off or moved around and I know they can only say certain things, but just the reassurance that, hey, we understand that you're going through this. We don't have all the answers right now. I think just more communication. The more communication you can provide people, the better it makes them feel. And like you said, they will feel seen and heard when you're speaking with them. And it's not this like brick wall of, we can't talk about anything. And then you're on pins and needles.
Yeah,
or whatever.
exactly. Right.
So yeah, I would say communication is huge. And then, you know, like you said, keeping it human, keeping it real. People, you know, all have to worry about their livelihood
Yes.
and, you know, got to keep that in mind when you're going through these large changes. So
Yeah, I like that. I think celebrating and staying connected as a team, sometimes also depending on what the change is. I mean, if it's a layoff, if it's something negative, you got to give people the time to process it and think about it, give them the open communication lanes to come have one-on-ones. So, you know, spend that time for allowing them to absorb the change, spend that time to walk, you know, what they call management by walking around, being more visible and just being truthful for where you can, you know, shed light on what's going on. I would say the other biggest thing, just being in change my entire life in terms of transformation, we call it the WIFM, what's in it for me. And, you know, oftentimes I think that many companies don't spend enough time on that. CHS, when we were there doing a $50 billion transformation, going out to our retail facilities and telling general managers and people who work out in the retail facilities at energy plants and agronomy plants that they no longer have certain decision authority because it's all being brought to corporate, or we're taking away P&L structures, we're taking away jobs, we're doing things at a speed that, one, they weren't prepared for, and two, there was no real what's in it for them. And I think a lot of companies struggle to connect with, how is this change affecting me? What is it doing to my job? Is it improving it? Is it making things easier? What's the outlook? And that is probably one of the biggest challenges I see with big operational and organizational changes is lack of time spent on that with them, with the people out in the field.
I agree. You have to show the stake in the game, right? So then they're going to actually give it their all and actually have the passion to do with the work they're supposed to be doing. I agree 100% with that. Yeah.
So, James, we appreciate the question. For anybody else that has a Ask and Elevate question to our team, we'll do our best to get it on the air and answer it the best we can. You can do so by reaching out to us on LinkedIn, and that is that is Elevate and Lead at LouInfo. And then you can also hit us up on email through elevateandleadinfo@gmail.com. So with that, we are going to actually get into our introduction with our special guest today. Jen, do you want to take that with David?
Well, I'm really excited. So our special guest is David Zinger. He's the president of the Warehouse of Fixtures and TNG, which stands for the next generation. So Dave and I actually first met when I was working at Enterprise Bank and Trust, and he was on the board. So we go way back. And then I actually had his wife as one of my authors in Living Well with Grit. So Dave, can you share with the audience a little bit more about who you are and what your company is all about?
So I'm a father of 3 boys, so I don't have to worry about the girl stuff, which my wife would have loved to have a girl. So we're still talking about that, whether it's a possibility.
That's sweet.
2 dogs, a cat, and 5 rats. And in my free time, I like to volunteer at the Foster and Adoptive Care Coalition, which is a great organization that serves the foster care community. And I've been involved since 2008 when they were a 25-person organization. And now they're over 100, I believe.
That's wonderful.
Camp Ben Frankel, which is the camp I went to growing up, and also Entrepreneurs Organization, which is a fantastic organization for people that own businesses and still want to learn and grow. And if I'm not doing those 3 things or spending time with my family, I'm probably at the Missouri Athletic Club.
The West.
Well,
I've seen you there when I was a member.
I go west and I go downtown, but nobody mixes a drink like the MAC, which is strange because it's an athletic club, but I use it mostly for the bar. Or I love to play poker. So those are my favorite things. I actually poker is the way that I de-stress.
That's cool.
Is there more I need to say?
No, that's great. Keep going.
She said that's cool.
I said
It is
that's cool.
Let's talk
That's
about
cool.
that.
So Warehouse of Fixtures, I refounded my grandfather's company in 2004. I was trying to make some extra money before I went on to law school and was selling inventory out of my grandfather's 7.5 acre warehouse, which was sold but not closed on. I would just open the doors 1 day, 2 days a week, bring stuff down from all the floors and areas, clean it up, fix it. People would walk in because they didn't know the business had closed, and they'd say, "What do you want for that?" I'd say, "What do you want to pay for that?" And we'd negotiate and sell stuff. And when the summer was coming to an end and I was looking at what I was going to do, I thought, this is an opportunity that if I don't take now, won't exist after I go to law school. So I thought. I had that analysis paralysis, and finally I decided I was going to do it. And 21 years later, here I am running a business that's one of the largest recyclers in the state of Missouri. We sell over $1 million of used furniture every year. We help a lot of not-for-profits. We're one of the largest philanthropic small businesses in St. Louis. One of the largest office furniture companies in St. Louis, the largest seller of used furniture, used and refurbished furniture in the state of Missouri, and one of the largest in the country. So we've accomplished a lot, but, we haven't accomplished anywhere near what I'd like to. So it's fun sometimes to look back on where you came from, but usually I'm looking forward to where I want to go, which leads to a lot of disappointment because change never happens as quickly as I'd like. For example, we've been working on a technology package for 10 years, and I've failed, and I've failed, and I've failed again.
But I love that you can highlight that. That takes courage.
Oh, I love talking about failures because so many business leaders don't do it. And
Nope.
Yep.
you
That is
get
true.
this idea that if you're a business leader, it's all one straight upwards line of success. And I've never seen someone succeed like that.
Right. I would agree with you.
I literally talk about that in all my grit presentations. Everybody thinks these leaders just have it like all figured out, and it's always like, nope, there's setbacks.
We were in a room, a 400-person room with a keynote speaker. And I said, you've talked a lot about your successes. Could you please tell us a little bit about your failures? And he said, next question, please.
Ooh, because you set him up for a space where he's uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, he's a funny guy too. So I don't fault him for it. But every time I see him, I'm like, I'd still like to hear about those failures.
You should have reframed the question back to,
Well, I probably shouldn't have asked the question, but I'm famous for doing things that I shouldn't.
Yes.
I told you he's a Spitfire. I
Yeah,
told you
someone
that.
said that on
I
LinkedIn. They're
did.
like, I'm waiting for the one-liners.
told you.
Yeah, so whoever that
You never
was.
know what David's gonna ask.
David, I think cool thing is I was actually a customer of yours back in like 2013, 14 timeframe with a company that I had, Experience Lab, and we outfitted our office with the furniture opportunities that you guys had there. And I would just say, briefly, it was a cool experience because one, you don't expect to walk in and get used furniture or recycled furniture, however you want to look at it, and it look basically brand new. But you guys allowed us to customize the furniture, change the color of it, the configuration of it, and it completely fit the vibe of what we were going for at our consultancy, and you guys knocked it out of the park. So it was an absolute great experience. And honestly, if I had to outfit an office like that again, I would be right back at Warehouse of Fixtures. So it was that good of an experience. So
And we didn't pay him to say that.
no,
That's right. And
Not
our
at
kids
all.
loved it.
Genuine.
Our kids would want to go to the office because it was so cool. We had young boys at the time, and they loved going to visit just because it had a really fun vibe to
That's
it.
cool.
So yeah.
Yeah. When Kelly told me that you guys were the Experience Lab, I was just floored. That was one of my favorite jobs from, what was that, 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
Yep.
We got to bring a lot of creativity into it, and the end product was great. Back then, a lot of what we were doing was just providing division of space and desks, and customers just, how can I get people in here as cheaply as possible? So for us, that was a really special one. And it was something that I'm still proud of today. So thank you for giving us that opportunity.
That's wonderful. Small world.
Yes.
And we will be right back. That first half went pretty quick. We got more questions for you, Dave.
Blue Information Station, a whole new way to enjoy content created just for those of us in the St. Louis area. It's a whole
Welcome back. This is Mike Chandler on Elevate and Lead, and we're here today on this beautiful St. Louis day with David Singer, who's the president of Warehouse of Fixtures T&G, the next generation. And as we talked about before the break, David, actually, we were a customer of his through Experience Lab. Fantastic job on the build out of our consultancy and the furniture they brought in. But David, you mentioned something when you introduced yourself that you're going to be a lawyer. You changed after some thoughtful analysis paralysis, to quote you, to essentially build out this Warehouse of Fixtures dream. And it came out of really just this idea of that summer job, if you will, or that summer opportunity that you had to figure out how to sell some furniture and maybe almost like a pawn shop at one point, but it's now turned into a fully fledged business that's successful. And you're helping a lot of companies save up to 80% on their furniture. You're saving the diversion of thousands of pieces of furniture going into landfills. Tell us more about that transition from that summer to at least where you are today. How did it all come together?
Slowly and painfully.
21 years of pain.
21 years of pain.
Yeah. So I wouldn't suggest doing it like I did. So I majored in philosophy and ancient history, which means that I have no useful life skills.
But you know a lot of facts, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm great at trivia, but that doesn't pay very well.
Yeah.
So when I was starting the business, I was just having fun. And when I decided to make a go of it, I knew nothing about finance. I knew nothing about business. I knew very little about negotiation or leadership. So I learned by making mistakes a lot of times. And because I was the only person at the beginning, I could do that. And as we grew, we were doubling and tripling in sales for those first 5 years, which was exciting, but I really had a steep learning curve, to learn how to read a P&L, a balance sheet, understand how accounting works, and understand how leadership works. I developed a habit of lifelong learning. So the first person I remember listening to incessantly was Zig Ziglar. Do you remember
he's
Zig?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I love all of his quotes.
Now, Zig was great. And Zig was all about sales and motivation. And so I learned about that. And as the business grew, I brought on a couple of partners who filled in my weak points. Dan Lohman, who was had a better idea of finance. He was a former Bearing Point guy. And my mom, who knew accounting pretty well. So, when I first started, I was just writing invoices on the back of a sheet of paper and giving them to people and not really tracking things very well. And so they came in and added some structure. But as things continued to grow, I continued to rely on them for those things. And I realized as we went that if I didn't know how to do those things, that it wasn't going to be a very good business and it wasn't going to be very successful. So I continued to learn and I continued to hire people around me that were good at things that I wasn't. So my mom handled accounting and she retired in 2015. I bought her ownership stake out. And one thing that she thought was if she didn't like doing something, someone else wouldn't like doing it either. And that is the worst possible attitude for business because she has this, she's born Italian Catholic. So she has this guilt and like, this is the way things should be. You should power through them. And, you should be at your desk for 40 hours a week.
Right.
And my vision was a little bit different. But when she first hired someone that had a little bit more skill, that person hired 2 more people. And these people loved doing the things that she hated. And they were better at them.
Yes.
And so I've always tried to stick with the stuff that I'm really good at and enjoy. So you've seen that quadrant, right? The four quadrants, like here's my zone of genius. It's something I'm good at and I enjoy. And here are the things that I'm not good at and don't enjoy, and something that I am good at and don't enjoy, and then things that I enjoy that I'm not good at.
Right.
So I love meeting people. I love making deals. I love strategy, but I love leadership. I hate management. Like I had to manage our sales. I shouldn't say had to. You get to set up a company however you want,
Sure.
which is great because you get to do it however you want, but terrible because everything is your fault.
Right.
So true.
But once you realize and take ownership that everything is your fault, you take that ownership, you can change things to be better.
Sure. That's great.
So I had to manage our sales team, and hearing people complain that they couldn't do things that I knew were super easy for me, and having to try to coach them up or whatever it was, it just wasn't something that I enjoyed. And I hated it, and it put me in a dark place, and I wasn't a good leader to them. So I felt bad about that. And I've tried to avoid those situations as much as possible. Like if you want a high level strategy, if you want people to want to go where we're going, like that hope and the painting the picture of what the future should look like, I'm great at that. But if you want someone to hold someone accountable on the day to day, not me.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Once I've painted the fence once or twice, I don't like painting the fence again. So I'll come up with the new stuff and move it forward. But definitely that day over day management operations can be painful.
I'm the same. No Groundhog Day for me. And I can't do the hand holding either. It's like figure it out and then let's build the big picture.
And that's where I'm the complete opposite.
I know.
I love the, give me a spreadsheet, give me something routine, give me something that's, not as creative. So it's a good pair for us. And then in business, you need those other people to fill in those holes. So.
And they love it. You love doing the spreadsheets.
Love the
You
spreadsheets.
Right.
Yeah.
So Dave, is the entire inventory that you guys have, is everything used, recycled, upcycled, or do you guys carry new now, or what's that business mix look like for you?
So when we started, we were purely used.
Yep.
But and I was sending people to my uncle who also sells new furniture for the new stuff. I didn't want to compete with him, but I realized probably within 6 months that they were never going there. Like they were just going to leave and go get it elsewhere. So our company is built around the client experience. So if you come in and you want new, I want to be able to provide that. If you want used, I want to be able to provide it. Excuse me. My wife is trying to get me to say pre-owned because it sounds classy.
Certified and pre-owned.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
all of our-
Insured and bonded.
CPO.
It's all inspected and cleaned and all of that stuff. So yeah, I should do that. I'm just old habits.
Yep.
And then we have the refurbished, is what you guys purchased, where you take the panels down to their most basic components and rebuild them like they're new. So the whole goal is to be able to build a solution for a client with almost any budget and to give them the look and feel that they want. So if you look at our volume, we sell about $2 million of refurbished a year. We sell probably 6 or 8 of new furniture. So by volume, by dollar volume, new furniture is our largest item, but it's also because the new furniture costs
Right.
3 to 4 times
Sure.
as much as the used.
Right.
And then used makes up $1 million to $1.5 million. And I am doing my best to try to raise that to 2 to 3 million over the next 5 years. That's one of my personal goals, because there are there are probably 10 other people in St. Louis that can sell you new furniture. There's no one else that can do used furniture at scale like we can.
Mhm.
And no one else that can do refurbished at scale that we can. So we're leaning into that unique ability. And it also does tremendous things for small business, because I think what percentage of small businesses fail in the first year?
Oh, geez. In the first year, isn't it like 60%, 70%?
It's north of 50%.
Yeah.
And in the first 5 years, it's 80 to 90%.
Yep.
It's huge, huge, huge. And the biggest reason that they cite is lack of capital, right? You run out of cash. You don't go out of business because you're not profitable. You go out of business because you run out of cash. So these businesses are starting and they're spending enormous amounts of money on this new furniture.
Yep.
And they don't even know what they really need. They're going in and some designer or some office furniture guy saying, you have to look the greatest because it will motivate your people. Having a nice workspace is great, but that's table stakes. Your furniture is not going to motivate your people,
Right.
Like your mission, what you do is going to motivate your people. So spending 4X on your furniture, you're starting at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So my goal is to get as many people as possible to do that because it's sustainable. Yeah. But when we do the surveys of our customers, do you know how many customers say they buy from us because it's sustainable?
I'm gonna say 75%.
I would say 0.
I was going to say it's probably all price.
Really?
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's close to zero.
Yeah.
Really?
Price.
It's close to
It's
zero.
probably price.
I would think that narrative would shift these days.
You know, you would think so, but even when we talk to large national people that have ESG programs,
Mm-hmm.
they can fudge the numbers to work with new Herman Miller or new Steelcase or new Hayworth, new whatever, because they're going to say we're 50% recycled by
Yeah.
volume or whatever.
Right.
Well, we're 100%.
Do you get a tax credit for that too? If they were purchased and it's recycled?
No, but you
Let's
save
pitch that.
75%.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Right. That's huge.
yeah. So for us, as much as the sustainability matters for me personally, it's about price, it's about speed, and it's about service. So I'd love for sustainability to be
To
the
pick
thing,
up.
but it's not.
It's interesting. You would think that some of that would play into it. And the furniture that even we purchased was, I know we got it refurbished to some degree, but even the stuff that we purchased used, I think some Herman Miller chairs and things like that.
Aaron's, yeah.
Yeah, they were high end. I mean, great condition. It's not like you were getting something that was ready to be thrown out to the curb. These things were definitely nice and I think very professional. So,
And it's even better today than it was then. The pandemic, people furnished offices prior to the pandemic and never occupied, or they occupied for 1 or 2 years. So we're selling furniture as used that may never have been sat in. We're selling furniture as used that may have been sat in for 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
It's a total shift in the marketplace.
yeah. Did the pandemic hit you guys with everybody going hybrid and shutting down offices for a bit, or?
No, it was fantastic. I love the pandemic. Let's do it again.
You said you had 3 kids, right? What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I mean, personally, it tested my mental strength because staying at home with 2
Yeah.
toddlers was brutal. And like, I love being around people. So it was really, really hard for me. I actually caught COVID 6 times.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I'm going for a record.
For a record,
Holy
yeah.
Keep on licking doorknobs and stuff, just trying to do better.
Can you
But,
smell? Did your sense of smell ever come back?
Yeah, I never lost it. Danielle did, but
Oh, man.
yeah. So the pandemic hit us hard because basically that segment of the market stopped. Office stopped for a year, and that was the first time we ever had to do layoffs. But for me, I wanted to run a sound business. So even though the government was throwing money at us, I wanted to, we did as much as we could to help the community. So we stayed open the whole time, which was scary because what if someone catches COVID or
Sure.
at the workplace? People that could work from home worked from home, but we were selling, if you're working from home and you're working at your kitchen table, ergonomically, it's terrible.
Right.
So
Right.
we wanted to give those people a way to buy chairs for their home inexpensively. And also we wanted to serve, we have the contracts with some of the hospital systems, some police, fire, and municipalities. So we wanted to serve them as well. Our volume went down about 50%.
Wow.
It made us
Yeah.
rethink our whole business model.
Absolutely. I'm sure. What have you done on the backside of this to strengthen or come out more resilient?
So prior to the pandemic, we were an Inc. 5,000 company 6 times in a row. It was all growth. We wanted to hit we wanted to limit our growth to about 20% because in our business, it's not just growth. You have to service the client. So it's more people pushing furniture, more people designing the furniture. So growing it more than a 20% clip was what I figured was 20% was sustainable without effect experience. So after the pandemic, I thought maybe we can continue this now that it's open again. No, the market size has just shifted, and you can see it through the mergers of the largest furniture companies. You can see it through stock prices. There are just so many ways to see that the furniture market, the office market, is not what it was, and it probably will never be what it was. So rather than focusing on growth after I made that mistake, we went back and said, okay, who are the customers that we love to do business with and love to do business with us? And how do we focus on those people? We created ideal customer profiles, avatars of who our ideal client was. And it's the Experience Lab. It's this small to medium-sized business that doesn't need this high-end stuff. So we're not doing a lot of high-end law firms or high-end financial firms. We do it, but it's not our area where we shine the most. And so all of our marketing focus is around that. We used to send out emails like, oh, here's a sale for a chair for $99 or $59. That's not our market anymore. We're also, we focused on cash flow because when we were doing large corporate work, they just kill you on cash flow. So it's low margin and terrible payment terms. And we fired a lot of those customers, which was the sales staff wasn't happy about. But the sales staff actually is they're paid on commissions.
Sure. Yeah. So
they're making better money now than they were.
Right.
Because there's more profit and less stuff. One of the things that's terrible about focusing on volume is that you increase your risk. And if you're not watching your margin, you don't increase your margin. And it just sucks the fun. It's terrible, terrible work. So we don't do that anymore.
Interesting.
That's awesome. Well, David, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights and your journey.
Wait, I have so much more to say.
He does.
Well, then we just got to bring you back.
Uh,
Got a problem with that? No. Perfect.
Okay, so moving along to some additional questions. Tell us about, I know you mentioned you're involved with some other organizations and you've mentioned them. Just let us know how you can get involved with those nonprofits that you spend so much time focusing on.
So the Foster and Adoptive Care Coalition does fantastic work, as I said, and the leader of that organization is one of the best leaders I've had the opportunity to work with. She, same leader from 15 people to 100 people, and that kind of growth in her leadership while the organization grew is amazing to me. They do Little Wishes at Christmas time. I'm Jewish, but I still call it Christmas time. Mm-hmm. They have a board that's a fantastic board. They have a junior board, and they have a few events throughout the year. I think the Hope in a Handbag is a purse event.
Fun.
Yeah, I get to work there, which is always fun to see the people fight over purses.
I think we've donated to that before. Where is that held?
Oh, they had it at Frontenac.
I think it's
it's a
Frontenac,
really like nice night out, and I think we donated
Frontenac
a purse
Hilton.
that one time. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Camp Ben Frankel is a camp for Jewish youth from all over the country, and they've been bringing in Israeli campers. I'm not sure I'm supposed to say that, but for the past 3 summers, we've brought in 18 to 30 Israeli campers because these are kids that are living in a war zone.
Yeah.
And regardless of what you think of the conflict, these are kids, and they don't deserve that. They're living in bomb shelters and doing that kind of stuff. So it gives them a normalcy every summer. If you'd like to donate to that, please reach out to me. I handle their fundraising.
Wonderful.
That's been a lot of fun. And Entrepreneurs Organization St. Louis, as a business owner, it can be pretty lonely. You can't talk to your friends at home about, you're worried about making payroll, or you have this big decision. I'm looking at buying a $3 million building. If I talk to my neighbor about that, about my fear around that, they're going to think I'm bragging.
Sure.
Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But this is a group of people that own businesses that do $1 million or more in revenue and are looking to, number one, support each other, and number two, help each other learn and grow. And I have learned so much through it. I've traveled the world with this organization. They have chapters all over the world, Middle East, Africa, Asia, anywhere you can think of, they have a chapter. And it's fantastic. If you're interested, you can reach out to me and I'll put you in touch with the membership. They also have an accelerator program. It's pretty cool. And the local chapter does great events. I heard Jeff Hoffman last week, the founder of Priceline. Fantastic. He is like a speaker that speaks to 500 and 600 people rooms as a keynoter. And he was here 2 weeks ago talking to a room full of 60 or 80 of us. Pretty cool.
It's
That is
awesome.
cool. Yeah, and this is the second time I've heard about this organization, and I'm speaking with the woman, Jen.
Jen, yeah, I met Jen because that's the niece of one of my friends, George Brill. So he's actually sponsoring the Grit Gala. So
That is
Jennifer's
awesome.
amazing. We've had coffee and she does amazing work. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm excited to
of
interview
course
her.
we're going to have her on the show at some
Yeah.
point, and figure out how we can work together to
Yeah.
help support that organization. So that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
David, I'm going to ask you one last question, 45-second rapid fire response from you. But what's the one lesson for St. Louis leaders out there that you would leave them with in terms of scaling with purpose? What's a lesson for our St. Louis leadership?
That's not an easy question. Scaling with purpose. I'd say treat people how you'd want to be treated. It's pretty simple, but people lose track of it. Even if you have to let someone go, even if you have to deliver bad news, do it with compassion, because these are all people. These are all someone's child.
Sure.
So how would you want your child to be treated?
Right.
I love
I
that.
love it.
That's not mine. It's Bob Chapman's.
It is.
I teach my boys that too, though.
Mr. Chapman from
Barry
Barry
Wimler.
Wimler.
He's incredible.
Yes. Well, David, thank you very much. We do have to wrap up our show here in just a minute or so, but we appreciate the opportunity you've given us to hear some pretty incredible things that you've done. And people can come see Warehouse of Fixtures. Where, David? Where's the address?
Our showroom is at 2720 Market Street, 63103. It's Market and Jefferson, right up the street from the soccer stadium.
Awesome.
And they can come see you digitally at WOFTNG.com. Is that the best way to get out and see you guys digitally?
Yes, that is the best way. And I'll give you guys my contact information if anyone wants to reach out to me.
And talking about the soccer stadium, we get to have Julia Yank on next week. She is the CEO of Taylor Roofing. She's one of my close buddies, and she actually did the roof at the MLS stadium. So
Nice.
she's a badass. Oh, she's a really incredible woman.
Person.
Oh, boy.
Oh, goodness.
Well, with that, you're listening to Elevate and Lead at the Lou Information Station, live and on demand at louinfo.com. We'll see you soon.
I don't think so. You're fine.
You've been strong for everyone else, but let me ask you who is strong for you. I am Jennifer Bardot, radio personality, author, and publisher, and the founder of Grit Association, which stands for Growth, Resilience, Intention, and Tenacity. What is Grit? Grit is a movement,